Does anybody out there, any of you, disagree that our tax dollars should be spent on American citizens first? Does anybody, Democrat or Republican, do you not agree that the money that you pay in tax should benefit you? I think that's a fundamental commonplace for American citizens to start the conversation. And people say, oh, how we're free? Like, look at these other places. Have you been to those other places? Because a lot of those places are nicer than here. And you know why they're nicer than here? Because they're not sending $1 trillion overseas to all these different things. China's not sending us all this money for aid, are they? If the money was spent here, the whole country wouldn't look like shit. And we would have a beautiful country with beautiful infrastructure. We wouldn't have a divided population. People would be happier. They make more money. And we're all sitting here arguing over bullshit.
Okay, now, give me the programs that you're willing to fund. I agree with you. Tax dollars should be spent on Americans first, not Americans only. We should be helping our neighbors. We should be helping our allies once we've helped our own. So, what program are you in favor of to get veterans off the streets? What program are you in favor of to get homeless people off the streets? What program are you in favor of to reduce the financial burden of the overpriced for-profit healthcare system in the United States of America? What program are you in favor of to better educate the next generation of American workers? What program are you in favor of funding? We tell you things that we want to see implemented, and guys like you always go, no, not enough money for it. That's a fucking waste of money. We need to be fiscally responsible. Well, you're sitting here now screaming into a microphone, telling everybody, well, you're not screaming, you're talking, my apologies, telling everybody that we need to be spending our tax dollars on Americans first. I agree. What fucking programs are you in favor of? The single biggest program that we can implement in the United States of America that would have the biggest impact on the most Americans would be universal health care. It would have the biggest impact on the most Americans and alter the most number of lives. People would not have to worry about going broke because they got sick. People would not be shackled to jobs because they need the health care. It would spur on entrepreneurial adventures. There are people I know, adventures, that wasn't ventures. There are people I know that work a full-time job and still have their own company on the side because they're trying to build a small company, but they cannot afford to go out on their own because of the health insurance. Are you in favor of universal health care? I'll bet you're not, but I might be wrong. Most of the people who tell me that we can't be spending money on our allies overseas are the same people that cannot name a single fucking program back here in the United States of America that they would be willing to back because they want to scream and moan about fiscal responsibility. We can't just be paying for everything. Well, you said the magic words. My tax dollars should be benefiting me. My tax dollars should be benefiting me, my family, and my community. And the best way my tax dollars can benefit me, my family, and my community is if me, my family, and my community didn't have to worry about the insanely high cost of healthcare. The way that my tax dollars could benefit me, my family, and my community is if the people in my community that wanted to go to community college after high school could do so without having to pay for it at the point of use. The way that me, my family, and my community can benefit most from my tax dollars is if we have a robust education system that's properly and fully funded. The way that me, my family, and my community can benefit from my tax dollars the most is if we help the people who have less by taxing the people who have more. It doesn't create an even balance, but it sure brings us a hell of a lot closer than the massive divide that we have now. So tell me what programs you are willing to back for here in the United States of America. Because right now the guy who's in the White House, he's telling me about how he wants to spend money to rebuild Gaza. He's telling me how he wants to spend money to aid Israel in the ethnic cleansing of the Palestinians out of the Gaza Strip. He's telling me how he wants to spend money potentially digging for minerals in Ukrainian territories that have been captured by the Soviet Union. He's telling me how he wants to spend money to buy Greenland. He's telling me how he wants to spend money to invade Panama. He's telling me how he wants to spend money to absorb and annex the entirety of Canada. And he's telling me how much money he wants the federal government to no longer pull in by giving another massive tax break to the highest earners in the country. But he isn't telling me about any programs that are here to help the working class of this country. He isn't telling me how the tax dollars that we pay are going to go to benefit us, the thing that you are extraordinarily passionate about. So let's talk about those programs. What programs are you willing to support?